So hello guys, I welcome you all to this special video on elitmus PS test verbal ability section. So this is basically a mock test which will give you fair idea about the pattern which is being followed in the elitmus verbal ability section over the years. So this is going to be a very useful and very interesting video for you. Okay. So first of all, let us just see what is the elitmus PS test verbal ability section all about. Okay. So let us see. So we see that this elitmus PS test verbal ability section, there will be a total of 20 questions in that. Each question will be of 10 marks. Okay, so 10 marks per question, which means that the overall marks will be 200 for the verbal ability section. Okay, now in this verbal ability section, there are total 20 questions. Okay, so out of that 12 questions are normally being covered by reading comprehension. Okay, now this is a general view over the pattern of questions which is being followed in elitmus PS test. However, a few things may change during the actual test, like maybe there are 2 reading comprehensions in place of 3, but generally what I have observed that normally 3 reading comprehensions come up covering a total of 12 questions. Okay, so 3 questions covering 12 questions. Then most of the time there are 3 questions which are based on sentence arrangement. Okay, so there are few 4 to 6 sentences and you have to arrange them in a proper way so that they form a coherent paragraph. Then there are 3 questions on fill in the blank. Okay, so it can vary. Maybe more suitable word has to be placed in, maybe some sort of antonym or synonym has to be picked in. Okay, so it depends. Then comes miscellaneous questions. We will see what are miscellaneous questions. So these are 20 questions regarding the verbal ability section. Not to forget that elitmus PS test is of total 2 hours duration. Okay, and there are 3 sections: aptitude, reasoning and verbal ability. This video is about verbal ability. Let me just emphasize the fact that you must not spend more than 30 minutes on this section during the actual examination. Otherwise, make your mind that your exam will be ruined. Okay, so speed matters a lot when it comes to solving this section. Okay, and I would strongly recommend you to just finish up this miscellaneous questions, fill in the blanks and sentence arrangement within 10 minutes only. Otherwise you would not be able to finish up the entire section within the designated, what I've just mentioned is the 30 minutes is the desirable duration when it comes to cracking this section. Okay, now I hope you have got a good idea about the overall pattern of questions which are being followed in the verbal ability. Let us see your target. Okay, so what should be your target? Like if you get 100 marks, 100 marks means you have done 10 questions correctly. Okay, and let me just tell you that elitmus has negative marking also. Okay, so you should not just take anything or just select any option. तुक्का नहीं मारना है. Okay, so there are total 100 marks. Okay, suppose you have scored a total of 100 marks out of 200. Okay, so basically what I have observed over the years, you can expect a percentile of 85 or above. If you have scored 110 marks, you can expect 90 percentile. Okay, and if you have scored 120 marks, you can expect 93 percentile. And if you score 130 or above, you can expect above 95 percentile. So your first and foremost target should be to score at least 130 marks out of 200. That is, you should be able to attempt correctly at least 13 questions, or in a better way I should say that you should be attempting correctly around 15 questions, because maybe 1 or 2 questions you will just end up doing in a wrong way. So I would strongly recommend you to attempt 15 questions and attempt them in a correct way. Okay, so that is very important. Also, I've seen among a lot of students that a lot of students are complacent and overconfident about the verbal ability section. They only focus on aptitude and the logical reasoning, and they normally take it for granted. Okay, it is a very important section for the companies to shortlist you. Let me just emphasize that once again. So make no mistake about it, you should be fully aware about the importance of this section. Still, if you think that that's it for the video, and if you think that you know everything about the verbal ability and only this much is enough for you to know that you must target 130 marks, there are total 20 questions, still if you think that that is enough, that you can just leave the video if you are overconfident. But if you are really serious about cracking this exam, then you should watch this video till the very end. Only then you will get a great idea about how to go about it and what to expect in the actual examination. So if you are serious, let's go ahead and watch this video till the very end. Only then you will be able to understand the gravity of this section. Okay, this is not an easy section. Let me just clarify. A lot of students have this misconception. Okay, let's go ahead. So the first question, as I have discussed about the pattern, the first question is about the sentence arrangement. Okay, so arrange the following four sentences to form a coherent paragraph. Okay, so the first sentence is this one. They found that many species in the region were facing extinction due to habitat loss and climate change. Then the team of scientists embarked on a journey to the Amazon rainforest to study its biodiversity. Then comes their research provided crucial insights into the impacts of human activities on these ecosystems. Then fourth one, they published in their findings in a well-respected scientific journal, raising awareness, this and that. Okay. So there are four options regarding that, how to arrange the sentences. Before you arrange the sentences, you should have a clear understanding about the coherency of these sentences. Like what is the author intending to convey? What is the basic idea of this paragraph? Because these four sentences actually form a paragraph. So you should be able to decipher the actual meaning of this paragraph. Only then you would be able to like arrange them forming a meaningful manner. Okay, so let us see. Okay, now the first sentence start with they found that this one. Huh? Okay, so it says that they found that many species. Who found? It cannot be the first sentence. Okay, let us see. Then comes the team of scientists embarked on a journey to the Amazon rainforest to study its biodiversity. This seems logical to start with. Okay, so it is saying a team of scientists have begun on a journey to Amazon rainforest and they want to study the diversity of Amazon rainforest. This makes sense to be the first sentence of the paragraph. Okay, so this can probably be the first sentence of the paragraph. Let me just mark one over here. Okay, okay. Huh. Then comes their research provided crucial insights. Then the fourth sentence comes they published their findings in a well-respected scientific journal. Now, obviously, in order to publish something, first of all, they should be researching and then only they should be publishing something. So, three should be coming before four. Okay, three should be coming before four. Okay, so once three comes, only after that four can come. Okay, so let us see what will come after this second one, whether three will come or one can also come. Let us see. So it is saying like in the this one, the team of scientists embarked on a journey to Amazon rainforest to study its biodiversity. Okay, now the first sentence, this one, it says they found that many species in the region were facing extinction. They refers to the team of scientists. So obviously it makes sense. Okay, they found out that many species in the region were facing extinction. So the first sentence should be following the second one. So it should be this order and then this should be coming the third one. Okay, fine. So this should be the proper order. I mean the second one should be coming first, then the first one. Okay, so 2, what should be this? 2, 1, 3 and 4. Okay, so this one 2, 1, 3 and 4. Okay, as per me this should be the answer. Let us see for the explanation. Okay, okay, so it says that in order to determine the correct order, identify the logical flow and context continuity between sentences. So this is the main thing. In order to solve any sort of sentence arrangement question, you should be able to do that. Okay, that is to determine the correct order. Then comes the narrative starts. Then comes the first one. The narrative starts with the team's action of embarking on a journey to study biodiversity. Okay, the sentence should come logically first. Okay, so this is what we have done actually. Okay, that's it. So this is the logic we have followed in order to solve this question. Let us move to the next one. Let us see. Next question. Arrange the following four sentences to form a coherent paragraph. Okay. So the first sentence begins with however this strategy. Which strategy? I'm not aware. Okay, it cannot be the first sentence. Let us see the second one. For many businesses, focusing on customer satisfaction is the key to growth. I don't know, it can be or it cannot be the first sentence. Okay. Then comes therefore companies must also innovate. Therefore comes up, it cannot be the first sentence because it is concluding something. Okay. Next sentence. Satisfied customers are likely to return and recommend the business to others. It can be or cannot be the first sentence. Okay. But looking at all these four sentences, I think the second one makes more sense. This one. For many businesses, focusing on customer satisfaction is the key to grow because we are talking about customer satisfaction in this. Okay. So it makes sense for me to say that this one. The second sentence is the first one. Okay. Then comes for many business focusing on customer satisfaction is the key to growth. Okay. Then we are talking about customer satisfaction, so we go to this satisfied customers. Okay, so this should be the second one. Like satisfied customers are likely to return and recommend the business to others. Okay, so in the first two sentences we have focused on the customer satisfaction part. However, now we are just placing in front of you a contradictory way also. Like however, this strategy alone cannot ensure long term success in a competitive market. Okay, and therefore this is the final because we are concluding. Therefore companies must also innovate and adapt to changing market conditions. So besides customer satisfaction, companies should also focus on changing market conditions. So that is the logical way of forming this paragraph. Like it should be like 2, 4, 1 and 3. Okay, so 2, 4, 1 and 3, this should be the answer as per me. Okay, let us see. Huh. So it says that to determine the correct order, identify the logical flow and context continuity between sentences. Okay, so the paragraph begins with the general idea that business should focus on customer satisfaction. Okay, so we have already understood the logic behind arranging these sentences to form a coherent paragraph. Let us see the next one. This looks like even tougher because now there are 6 sentences to be arranged in order to form a paragraph, and normally these sort of questions do appear in the examination. Okay, so focus on it. Let's see. The first sentence is as a result. What result? I mean, as a result, it cannot be the first sentence of the paragraph. It is quite understandable. Okay. So this cannot be the first sentence of your paragraph. Okay. Second one. Okay. Second one says this decision. Which decision? Okay. We don't know. It cannot be the first sentence. Okay. Then eventually. No. Eventually means that you are following some sort of events. Okay. What events? Okay. It cannot be the first sentence. Okay. The fourth sentence is in recent years, the city council approved a plan to expand the urban area to accommodate the growing population. This one. Now, this can be the first sentence, but we are not sure till now. Next is the expansion included the construction of new residential areas, commercial centers, and public parks. Which expansion? So I don't think that fifth sentence can be the first one. So after looking at all this, I think the fourth one should be the first one. Okay, first one coming in. Okay, which says that in recent years, the city council approved a plan to expand the urban area to accommodate the growing population. Then we are talking about the expansion in the plan. Okay, so the fifth one is talking about this. The expansion included the construction of new residential areas, commercial centers, and public parks. Then the sixth sentence is also talking about the plan. The plan aimed to balance economic growth with environmental protection, ensuring long-term benefits for both the community and the ecosystem. Okay. Okay. Now we are talking about 1, 2, and 3 sentences which are being left. Okay. So the second sentence talks about the decision regarding that policy which we are talking about. So this decision was met with resistance from environmental groups who were concerned about the potential impact on the local ecosystem. Okay, now we are talking about its potential impact on the local ecosystem. So this should be the fourth one. Okay, eventually because of this resistance, A compromise was reached that allowed for sustainable development while preserving key areas of natural beauty. Like we have to preserve the natural beauty along with this growing urbanization. Okay. As a result, the final sentence is this: as a result, the local economy experienced a significant boom with more jobs and higher income for residents. So, in my opinion, it should be like this. So, it should be 4. So, it should be 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, and 1. Okay. This one 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 1. This should be the answer. Okay. Let us see now. Huh. So, as we have explained, we have to understand this logical flow. Okay. You can just pause the video over here in order to you want to just read it out for yourself, okay, because I already explained you the logic behind this. Okay, let us move on. Now we are coming to the fill in the blanks question. We have already seen the 3 sentence arrangement questions. Now we move on to the fill in the blank section. Okay, so it says that select the most appropriate word to fill in the blank. So despite the committee's dash efforts to address the issue, the problem persisted and even worsened over time. So the committee has made some sort of efforts to address some sort of issue. Still, the problem persisted and worsened over time. So what should be the correct word for this? Okay. Now, let us see the explanation for that. Okay. Now it says the phrase the problem persisted and even worsened suggests that efforts were made, but they were not good enough or effective in order to resolve the issue. Okay, so let us see all the 4 words in the options one by one. Like cursory means superficial or not thorough, which would imply a lack of thorough effort. This is not a fit because the sentence suggests efforts were indeed made. Okay, so efforts were made by the committee, but they were just not good enough or effective in order to resolve the issue permanently. So cursory means superficial. No, it was not superficial, they were efforts. Okay, second option exhaustive, which means thorough and comprehensive, very thorough and comprehensive, which implies that the efforts were extensive and thorough. If this were true, the problem likely would not have worsened. Like if we make a lot of efforts, we have made a really lot of efforts, normally we are likely to solve the problem, but still the problem was not solved. So maybe exhaustive efforts were not there, the efforts were not really exhaustive to solve the problem. Okay, third option futile, which means pointless or ineffective. So this fits well with the context that despite efforts the problem persisted and worsened. Okay, so futile means that the efforts were just not good enough. Okay, this can be an apt word because the efforts were made but they were just not good enough. So I think futile can be the right choice here. Okay, let's see fourth option meticulous, which means showing great attention to detail, which implies that the efforts were careful and detailed, similar to exhaustive. If this were the case, the problem would not have worsened. Okay, the problem would not have worsened had the efforts been meticulous. So only futile can come in because the efforts were made but they were just not good enough to solve the issue. The issue got worsened. So the correct word is futile. Okay, this one, futile is the answer. Okay, next sentence, select the most appropriate words to fill in the blanks. The scientist's theory was initially dash by her peers. However, as more evidence emerged, it gradually gained dash among the scientific community. Okay. So, what to do? There are 2 blanks now in place of 1. So obviously the scientist's theory was initially dashed by her peers. However, as more evidence emerged, so more evidence emerged in support of the theory. Okay, it gradually gained. Obviously, it would have gained some sort of support among the community. So it means that initially the theory was not really supported by the peers, but gradually it got some support because of the emerging evidences. Okay, finally, let us see. So the first option is dismissed and traction. Okay, so it can come actually because the scientist theory was initially dismissed by her peers. However, as more evidence emerged, it gradually gained traction. Traction means that it got the attention, right kind of attention, right kind of crowd supporting it. Okay, this can possibly be. Okay, Second option we see lauded and attention. So the scientist theory was initially lauded by her peers. No, no, it cannot be lauded initially by the peers, because however word comes in, however just gives a contradictory view. Okay, and we know in the second half of the sentence it actually gains support from the peers. Okay, because of the emerging evidences. So lauded cannot come in the first blank. Let us see option 3, scrutinize and acceptance. So the scientist theory was initially scrutinized by her peers. However, as more evidence emerged, it gradually gained acceptance. Now, acceptance is a very strong word in the scientist terminology. Acceptance means that the theory got completely accepted. Okay, it is not just possibly true because only evidences were emerging. Okay, it cannot gain the entire acceptance. Okay, so this cannot be true also. Then comes the scientist theory was initially overlooked by her peers. It can possibly fit in. Then comes, however, as more evidence emerged, it gradually gained skepticism. No, skepticism means that they were not still not sure, or maybe skepticism is basically a negative word. Okay, negative should not come in the second fill in the blanks, because it was actually gaining popularity. It was actually getting support because of the emerging evidences. So only first one fits in, dismissed and traction. Okay, so this is all about the explanation of this. Okay. So it says that the theory's initial reception contrasts with its eventual acceptance. Okay. The sixth question we have, select the most appropriate word to fill in the blanks. Like, in the face of mounting evidence, the scientist initial gave way to a more stance, reflecting the complexity and nuance of the ongoing research. Okay. So some sort of evidences were mounting and the scientist initial, I don't know what initial. So let us see what happened. Okay. However, in the second part of the sentence, you can say that it is reflecting the complexity and nuance on the ongoing research. Okay, so initially maybe the scientists were pretty much positive, but as soon as they got into the depth of the concept, they realized that it is not a really easy subject and they have to work really hard towards it. Okay, so we have the first option, certainty and tentative. So in the face of mounting evidence, the scientists' initial certainty. So initially the evidences were mounting and certainty was rising, because the scientists' initial certainty gave way to a more tentative instance. Tentative, like it can possibly be, reflecting the complexity and nuance of the ongoing research. Okay, like initially there were quite a lot of certainty and they got into tentative stance because this was a very complex subject. So this option can possibly be true. Second one is skepticism and confident. Like, in the face of mounting evidence, the scientist's initial skepticism. Okay, skepticism is quite a negative word, should not come here. Then comes the third option. In the face of mounting evidence, the scientist's initial optimism. Optimism can come, but it gave way to a more pessimistic instance. No, it is still not pessimistic, even though the subject is quite complex, but it doesn't mean that it has to be pessimist. Okay, so C option cannot be there. Let us see the fourth one. In the face of mounting evidence, the scientist's initial enthusiasm can come in. Actually, enthusiasm can come in. Gave way to a more indifferent stance. Indifferent means that they are not really interested in that. Okay, this cannot be used. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so only the first one makes sense. Certainty and tentative. Okay, so that's the right answer. So here's the explanation for that. Okay. So we move on the seventh question, which says identify the sentence that is correct. Now we have four sentences and we have to identify which sentence is correct. Obviously the other sentences would be having some sort of error because only one of the sentences is correct. So let us see the first one. Each of the participants was given a certificate of completion. Okay. So we have each, which is a singular noun, and the singular form of was, that is was, is used, so it is correct. Then we see the second option, neither the manager nor the employees has the authority to make such a decision. So we have neither and nor. Okay, and we are talking about manager nor the employees, so have should come, it should have a plural form, neither nor. Okay, this should not be this, has cannot come, have should have come here. Okay, so this is a wrong sentence. Okay, first one is correct, this is wrong. Let us see the third sentence, C part. The committee along with the board members are meeting next week to discuss the proposal. The committee along with board members. It is actually a singular noun. The committee is a singular noun and is should be coming over here and not are. Okay. The committee is meeting next week to discuss the proposal. Okay. This is also wrong. Then comes the D part, which is every student and teacher needs to submit their feedback by the end of the month. So it says every student, okay, and teacher needs to submit, needs give way to a singular form. Okay, so basically every student and teacher, this is singular. Okay, they need to submit, his or her should come here, his or her feedback by the end of the month and not there. So this is also not correct, only first sentence is correct. Okay, so this is the explanation for that. The first one is correct. Okay, we move on to question number 8, which is select the word that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The artist's latest work is an esoteric masterpiece filled with obscure symbolism and hidden meanings. So this is some sort of artwork and it is a masterpiece, esoteric masterpiece, okay, which is filled with obscure symbolism and hidden meanings. And we have to find a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word, and this is the underlined word is esoteric. Okay, so we have to find a word that is opposite in meaning to esoteric. Okay, so let us see the explanation. What is the meaning of the word esoteric? Okay, so esoteric means intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. So it is some sort of very specialized knowledge or interest. Okay, so that is esoteric. It is not to be understood by everyone. It is only to be understood by a specific group of people having high level of knowledge. Okay, so we see the four options one by one. First one is accessible, which means easy to understand. It is obviously the antonym of esoteric here. Okay, though this can quite probably be the right answer. Let us see the second option. Abstruse. Abstruse means difficult to understand, which is synonymous with esoteric. Then the third one is arcane, which means mysterious or understood by only a few, which is synonymous with esoteric. Then comes cryptic, which also means having a mysterious or ambiguous meaning, which is synonymous with esoteric. So obviously the first option is true, which is accessible, which is just its opposite. It is its antonym. Then comes the reading comprehension part. Very important. There will be 3 reading comprehension. So this is the first one. Every reading comprehension will be followed by 4 questions. Okay, let us see the first one. In an age where the cacophony of digital noise, what is cacophony? What is cacophony? This one. We can just break it into 2 parts like uh, caco and phone. Okay, so caco means harsh and phone means noise. So cacophony means harsh noise. Okay, so in the age where the cacophony of digital noise incessantly means without any end, clamors means demands. So it incessantly clamors for our attention. The art of contemplation. What is contemplation? Some deep thought of taking some sort of action in future. So that is contemplation. It is a keyword which is being used in this paragraph. You would realize that. Okay, contemplation is a very important word here. Okay, it has become an elusive pursuit. Okay, the quotidian hustle. Quotidian. What is quotidian? Quotidian means something that we do every day. So that is quotidian. The quotidian hustle often relegates. Relegates means we move something to lower level. So the quotidian hustle often relegates reflective thinking to the periphery of our lives. Now a lot of fancy words are being used in the first few lines of the paragraph and you might be getting confused. So let me just say, you don't need to be afraid. Let us understand word by word. Only then you would be able to understand the entire meaning of the paragraph. Okay, let us read it again. So it says that in an age where the cacophony of digital noise, we have already seen what is cacophony, it is harsh noise. So in an age where the cacophony of digital noise incessantly clamors for our attention, like without any end, it demands for our attention. The art of contemplation has become an elusive pursuit. Elusive is something that is difficult to get. Okay, so it simply means that there is a lot of digital noise, a lot of social media noise is there, due to which contemplation, we are finding it difficult to contemplate anything. We are finding it difficult to go in depth of our thoughts. We are not thinking deeply about any topic. We are just scrolling social media, scrolling YouTube, Facebook and Instagram here and there. Okay, that is the core concept behind this paragraph. Okay, that we are just trapped in the cacophony of this digital noise, and we are finding it very difficult to contemplate about any sort of action in our life. Okay, the quotidian hustle often relegates this one reflective thinking to periphery of our life. The reflective thinking is a deep level of thinking, and due to the social media noise and the digital noise, the reflective thinking has taken a backseat over here. Okay, so I hope you have understood the paragraph till now. Let us move ahead. Replaced instead by a frenetic engagement with ephemeral content. What is this? Frenetic, which is that cannot be controlled. We are finding it difficult to control the digital noise. Okay, with ephemeral content. Ephemeral content means that is momentary, that is short-lived. Okay, so some, we are just scrolling the shorts all the time, we are scrolling Instagram reels all the time. That is the actual meaning. That is the ephemeral content, that is short-lived content, but is actually spoils our attention span, and due to which we are not able to contemplate about our actions. Okay, and that is why the reflective thinking has taken a backseat. Okay, let us move ahead. However, the profundity of contemplative thought cannot be overstated. Profundity means that the actual importance of it. Okay, the contemplative thought cannot be, profundity means the depth or actual importance. Okay, so the depth of contemplative thought cannot be overstated, like it cannot be exaggerated, because it has an actual depth. It serves as a crucible wherein ideas are refined and transmuted into actionable insights. Because only when you contemplate, only when you think deeply about some sort of action, only then you would be able to take the action. Okay, as per the author. Let us see the next paragraph. Philosophers from ancient to modern times have extolled the virtues of contemplation. What is extolled? Extolled means to lift up something. So they have also supported the virtues of contemplation from the ancient times. Aristotle, in his Nicomachean Ethics, posited that contemplative activity is the highest form of human endeavor. Okay, what is posited? It means to position. So he positioned that contemplative activity is the highest form of human endeavor. It is the highest form of human effort, because it takes a lot of effort to think deeply into something. Okay, one that yields eudaimonia or true happiness. So eudaimonia means true happiness. Okay, similarly, modern thinkers like Simon Weil have underscored the indispensability of reflective thought. Underscored means that he has highlighted the importance. The indispensability. Indispensability is something that without which we cannot do much. Okay. So he has also underscored the indispensability of reflective thought. Then comes suggesting that it cultivates a deeper understanding of our existence and our place with the cosmos. Yet the present milieu, dominated by the transient and the trivial, milieu means the daily society which we live in, dominated by the transient and the trivial, poses formidable obstacles to the cultivation of contemplative mind, because this is a society which is all about the trivial things. That I've shared that video, I've shared that short with you, I've shared a joke with you. Okay, due to which it actually very difficult for anyone to go into contemplative thought. Okay, the omnipresent digital interfaces, while ostensibly tools for productivity, often devolve into instruments of distraction. So it says the omnipresent tools. Omnipresent is that is present everywhere. The omnipresent digital interfaces, because social media is everywhere, while ostensibly tools for productivity. There are a lot of online platforms which actually appear as a tool. So ostensible means which appear like something but which is not actually true. So there are a lot of online tools or online websites which may appear as a tool to you, but they are not actually tools. They are actually a distraction for you. Okay. The relentless barrage of notifications, updates, and feeds engenders a fragmented attention span. So, just like I said earlier, it results into a fragmented attention span, inimical to the sustained focus required for deep thought. Inimical means harmful or bad to the sustained focus required for deep thought. Then we have, in this context, it is imperative. In this context, it is imperative to reclaim contemplative times because not merely a personal aspiration but a societal necessity. The recalibration of our engagement with technology, fostering environments that encourage reflection and prioritizing depth over breadth in our consumption of information are crucial aspects in this endeavor. So, finally, in the last paragraph, we are talking about the importance of contemplation. Okay, it says that we should recalibrate, like we should redesign our life so that we engage with the technology in such a way that it improves our reflective thinking and not just we are consuming our attention over here and there in unnecessary things, unnecessary shorts, unnecessary reels. It should not be like that. Okay, so by doing so we can hope to restore the balance between action and reflection, a dichotomy central to the human experience. Dichotomy means two types of oppositely seeming experience. Okay, so this is all about the paragraph. I hope you got the central idea of the paragraph. Okay, so let's see the questions. The derived meaning as per the author. Okay, according to the passage, why is contemplative thought considered essential? Why is it essential? Okay, let us see the questions. It allows for more, let us see the options. It allows for a more superficial engagement with daily activities. No, contemplative thought is just not superficial. It is actually a deep understanding of something, a deep thought of something, like deep thought of taking action on something. Okay, it is not superficial. That is not true. This cannot be true. Next is, it is a fleeting practice that helps cope with modern distractions. No, 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 no. It is just not about dealing with modern distractions. It is about the deep thought. Okay. Then comes, it refines ideas and translates them into practical insights. That is true. That is true. Because when you think deeply, it refines ideas and translates into practical insights. So that is true. Fourth option is, it enables continuous engagement with digital interfaces. No. So this is the right option. Next question we see. So this is the explanation for that also. So it refines ideas, translates into practical insight. The passage emphasizes that contemplative thought serves as a crucible for refining ideas and translating them into actionable insights, highlighting its essential role. Next question. Which word in the passage is closest in meaning to ephemeral? So ephemeral, I have already explained to you. Ephemeral means momentary. Okay. So momentary is the right answer for it. This one. Okay. Let us see the explanation also. Ephemeral means lasting for very short time, which is synonymous with momentary. Okay. Next question. Identify the word that is most nearly opposite in meaning to inimical as used in the passage. Inimical is something hostile or bad. Okay. So hostile is basically the synonym, and we have to find something that is opposite. We have to find the antonym. So hostile cannot be it. Detrimental cannot be it because it is also harmful. Then pernicious is also a negative word which means harmful. So the only positive word is conducive, which is supporting something. Okay. So we can see the explanation also, like inimical means harmful or hostile, while conducive means making a certain situation or outcome likely or possible, serving as the opposite. Okay, so it says, what is the main idea of the passage? Next question. First option is the need to embrace digital tools for greater productivity. No, this is definitely not true. The contrast between ancient and modern views on contemplation. No, because it has already quoted Aristotle also. So the ancient views were similar to that of the modern views on this. The importance of reclaiming contemplative time in the modern world. Okay, that is the central idea. The importance of reclaiming contemplative time. The importance of the times when we can think deeply on something and not get distracted by the social media all the time. Okay, that is the central idea. Next is the challenges of achieving happiness through technology. No. So the option C is correct because the passage discusses the challenges posed by modern distractions to contemplative thought and the necessity of reclaiming contemplative time. So we have the first reading comprehension completed. We move on to the next one. In recent decades, the discourse surrounding climate change. What is discourse? A detailed study in writing or maybe discussion. Okay. Surrounding climate change. So this is about climate change, the second reading comprehension. Okay. This is also a very important topic and a very relevant one. Has transcended the realm of scientific inquiry to become a central issue in global politics and economics. So this scientific inquiry has become a central issue in global politics and economics. The empirical evidence amassed by climatologists unequivocally indicates that anthropogenic activities, what is our anthropogenic activities? Activities originating from human. So activities by humans are actually resulting in the climate change. So they are the principal drivers of the rapid changes observed in Earth's climate change. Despite this, the path towards meaningful action has been fraught with obstacles. So we can have the meaningful action also in order to just deal with the climate change problem. uh, we all have experienced the climate change problem, like during summers a lot of hotness is there during the day, okay, and we can just experience during the entire time, okay, a lot of pollution is there. So despite this path towards meaningful action has been fraught with obstacles ranging from political inertia to economic interest vested in the status quo. So basically we know what are the actionable items, like we should not be using a lot of personal vehicles, we should not be emitting a lot of smoke, we should not be using a lot of ACs, we should not be just sanctioning the industries to run in some sort of areas in order to control the pollution and all, in order to just control the climate change problem. But still a lot of political parties and a lot of people actually want to maintain the status quo. Not essentially the political parties, but a lot of businesses also want to maintain the status quo. Status quo means that whatever the present status is, they want to maintain it. Okay, that is the status quo. People just don't want to change. Okay. Then is a critical aspect of the discourse is the notion of climate justice, which posits that the burden of climate change should be borne equitably, with particular attention to the disproportionate impacts on marginalized and vulnerable communities. It means that climate change is obviously harmful to everyone, but it has even a more adverse impact on the marginalized society. Marginalized society means who do not have a lot of resources, the poorer section of the society. Okay. So these groups often lack the resources to adapt to the adverse impacts of climate change. Like when there are climate changes, the worst affected are the marginalized communities. Okay. Despite contributing the least to the problem, this ethical dimension of climate change calls for a rethinking of international policies and cooperation frameworks to ensure that mitigation and adaptation efforts are both effective and just. Moreover, the economic implications of transitioning to a low carbon future are profound. Renewable energy technologies, while becoming increasingly cost competitive, require substantial upfront investments. Okay, we know that renewable energy transition is a solution, but it is not that cost effective. There has to be a significant initial investment to that. Just think of an EV battery car. Okay, they are generally a lot more expensive than the general cars. Okay, the reconfiguration of industries and labor markets to accommodate new energy paradigms presents both opportunities and challenges. Policymakers are tasked with balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability, because we have to just no, it cannot be like just shut off the industries, there is a lot of pollution. No, it cannot be like that. We have to run the industries, we cannot just slow down the economy because of the pollution part or the climate change part. We have to run the industries, we have to run the economy, and at the same time we have to control the climate change problem also. Okay, so a field that demands innovative thinking and robust international collaboration. In essence, the dialogue on climate change encapsulates a complex interplay of scientific understanding, ethical considerations, and economic realities. The urgency of the situation necessitates a concerted effort to forge a path that is scientifically informed, ethically sound, and economically viable. So, obviously, it should be ethical. Whatever the strategy that is the go to strategy from here, it has to be ethical. It has to be economically sound. It has to be a sustainably sound strategy. At the same time, it has to be holistic. Like it should take care of everyone, the marginalized society also. So, this is all about the paragraph. This is all about what the author wants to convey using this reading comprehension. Next one is the questions on that. Okay. According to the question, what is the primary ethical concern in discourse on climate change? We are talking about the primary ethical concern. Okay. So the economic cost of renewable energy technologies, no, this is not ethical concern. The political challenges in implementing climate change policies, no, it is not ethical concern. The disproportionate impact of climate change on marginalized communities, this is the ethical thing that has to be considered, because Climate change has its worst impacts on the marginalized communities that we have discussed during the reading comprehension. Next, we have the scientific consensus on anthropogenic climate change. No. So this is what the ethical thing is, the section C. Okay. Next question is, which word in the passage is closest in meaning to inertia? Inertia means some sort of resistance or some sort of weight due to which a body just does not go into the motion forever. We have studied in physics, I think during our class 9th or 10th, okay, about inertia. So it is somewhat similar to resistance. Okay, so it is closest in meaning to resistance. Okay, we can just see the explanation also. Inertia refers to a tendency to do nothing or remain unchanged, which is similar to resistance in this context. Next question we have, identify the word that is most nearly opposite in meaning to robust as used in the passage. Robust means strong. Okay, and obviously we have to find the word that is opposite in meaning. So weak is obviously the opposite of strong. So it is the right option. Then we have vigorous, which is very some sort of strong sort of wave, and then we have strong and sturdy, all are actually positive words and strong words. So obviously weak is the only option that is opposite to robust. Okay, so we have the explanation also. Robust means strong and healthy, so the opposite should be weak. What is the main idea of the passage? Let us see the scientific consensus on climate change. Next is the need for equitable and sustainable climate policies. Next is the economic benefits of renewable energy. Next is the challenges of international cooperation on climate change. We can say that this was just a part of it and not the central idea. Even the economic benefits is not the central idea. Okay, this one is the central idea. The need for equitable and sustainable climate changes, because we have to adopt a policy by which everyone can benefit from. Okay. So option B is the right answer here. Okay, let us see the explanation. The passage discusses the complex interplay of science, ethics and economics in address climate change, because in the passage we have seen all the aspects, like it should be ethical, it should be sustainable, okay, and it should be economically viable also. So emphasizing the importance of policies that are both equitable and sustainable. So we have completed the two reading comprehension and we have come to the final reading comprehension. Okay, this is the final one. Let's go. The exponential growth of urbanization in the 21st century has led to a profound transformations in social, economic and environmental domains. So this para is talking about the expanding urbanization. Urban areas, now home to more than half of the world's population, are becoming epicenters of innovation and economic activity. So they are the main center of innovation and the economic activity. As we have seen, the main cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, Gurgaon, Delhi, they are the main centers in India of the economic activity. Okay. However, this rapid urban expansion also presents significant challenges such as infrastructure strain, environmental degradation, and social inequality. One of the critical issues is the sustainability of the urban environments. Like in Delhi, you can see a lot of pollution. In Bangalore, you can just see the water challenge. Okay, the concentration of people and industries in cities lead to increased resource consumption and waste production, posing severe threats to environmental health. So, environment is being compromised when it comes to becoming the epicenter. Okay, to address these challenges, urban planners and policymakers are advocating for sustainable urban development practices. So the urban development practices have to be sustainable, so they are not very much degrading to the environment. Okay, these include the integration of green spaces, promotion of public transportation, and implementation of energy efficient building standards. So these are some of the measures, like promotion of green spaces, public transport, and implementation of energy efficient building standards. Additionally, the social fabric of urban areas is undergoing transformation. The influx of diverse population into cities fosters cultural exchanges. The influx of diverse populations into cities fosters cultural exchanges and economic opportunities, but also exacerbates issues like housing affordability and social stratification. Like a lot of population is coming in, and a lot of population influx is there into the new cities which are offering a lot of jobs, like Gurgaon, Noida, Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Okay, so these are the cities in India that are actually in a lot of pressure. A lot of population influx is there, and people once come there just do not want to go to other places. Okay, but it has also exacerbates issues like housing affordability and social stratification. Okay, exacerbate means worsens. So housing affordability has been worsened by this population influx. We have been coming across a lot of news that the real estate is just becoming more and more expensive in these demanding cities. Okay, so the disparity between affluent neighborhoods and impoverished areas is stark. So affluent means which is good, which they are quite similar to the rich ones, okay, and impoverished means which lack resources. So necessitating policies that promotes inclusive growth and equitable access to resources. So policies should be that everybody should be getting the equal access to the resources, okay, only the rich one should not be getting more resources, more easy access to the resources, okay. Economic resilience is another focal point in the discourse on urbanization. Cities are increasingly becoming nodes in the global networks of trade and finance, making them vulnerable to economic fluctuations and crises. So they are the epicenters of trade and finance. At the same time, they are more vulnerable to economic crisis because once the economic crisis comes in, they will be the worst affected ones. Therefore, the diversifying urban economies and investing in sustainable industries are pivotal strategies for enhancing economic stability. In summary, the ongoing urbanization process is a double-edged sword, bringing both opportunities and challenges. The path forward requires a balanced approach that emphasizes sustainability, inclusivity, and resilience. Okay, to create thriving urban centers for future generations. So, at the end of the paragraph, the author emphasizes for the sustainability, inclusivity, and resilience. Sustainability means we have discussed that a lot of problems are there in the urbanized cities, resource problems, water problems, pollution and all. Inclusivity means that everyone should have equal access to the resources, and resilience means that once some economic crash comes up, it should not be the haphazard one. It should not be some insurmountable catastrophe kind of thing. Okay, so that's it for this. Let us see the question. So according to the passage, why is sustainable urban development important? Why is sustainable urban development important? Let us see. It fosters economic opportunities and cultural exchanges. It ensures the resilience of global trade and finance networks. It addresses the environment, health, and infrastructure strain. It promotes housing affordability and social stratification. So, why is sustainable urban development important? It is important for environmental health and infrastructure strain because we are talking about here sustainability. Okay, so this is all about the sustainability thing. The passage discusses sustainable urban development as a way to mitigate environmental degradation and infrastructure challenges. Okay, next one. Which word in the passage is closest in meaning to exacerbates? Exacerbates, as I already discussed, means to worsen something. Okay, so worsen means that we are intensifying something, we are just magnifying the problem. So intensifies is the right word because alleviates means to remove or to mitigate something. Okay, alleviate and mitigate cannot be the ones, and reduces means the same as alleviate. Okay, so intensifies is the word which is closest in meaning to exacerbates. Okay, so this is the word. Exacerbate means to make problem worse or more severe, which is synonymous with intensifies. Next come identify the word that is most nearly opposite in meaning to inclusive as used in the passage. So inclusive means that we are including something, we are giving equal opportunities. Now we have to find the word that is opposite in meaning. Okay, opposite means we have inclusive, so obviously exclusive is the opposite. We are excluding people. Okay, like the other words are comprehensive, which means inclusive, equitable means equal opportunities, and universal means the same for all. So exclusive is the answer here. Okay, let us see the explanation. Inclusive means not excluding any section of society group, so the opposite would be exclusive. Last question. What is the main idea of the passage? The cultural benefits of urbanization in 21st century, the need for balanced urban development to tackle modern challenges, the economic opportunity presented by global urbanization, the impact of urbanization on housing affordability and social inequality. So the fourth option is the impact of urbanization on housing affordability and social inequality. So primarily in the passage we have talked a bit about everything, but the primary focus, the main idea of the passage is the need for balanced urban development to tackle modern challenges. Because when we are talking about economic opportunities, when we are talking about urbanization, affordability, everything comes under the modern challenges. Okay, so this is the answer. Like the passage outlines the opportunities and challenges of urbanization, emphasizing the importance of sustainability, inclusivity, and resilience in future urban development. Okay, so this is all we have. Okay, we have discussed all the 20 questions, and we have discussed the broad pattern of questions which are being coming in the which have been coming in the elitmus verbal ability section. I hope you got a pretty good idea of the verbal ability section. In case you just appreciate our effort for all this, just hit a like button and just subscribe the channel, okay? And do join our WhatsApp group. It is very important, as we have been posting a lot of important updates in our WhatsApp group. So have a happy life, have a good life, and I wish you all the best preparing for the exam, okay? So in case you want to get in touch with me, you can just call or contact over WhatsApp at the number which is being flashed below. So I wish you happy learning, and bye bye.